Dear students, let us start 12th lesson, thermal properties of matter. So before going to the thermal properties, we start with the definitions of temperature and heat. Before going to the definitions, we can have a simple activity. Suppose in your house you have a table made of metal, preferably a metal table is there, suppose. Or see here, a hot tea is served in a steel glass, suppose. And here a ice cold water bottle is kept, which is just drawn from a fridge. After some time, the tea gets cold and the water inside the bottle comes to the room temperature. So here what we observe, and if you move the glass, the steel glass to a side and you touch the table surface, you can feel the warmth. So its heat, a part of its heat is transferred to the table and the remaining is transferred to the surroundings. So initially it was hot and its heat is transferred to the surrounding medium. In this case, it absorbed heat and it came to the room temperature. Here we find loss of heat, here we find gain of heat. So here we got a concept of heat. Now when it lost some of its heat, its temperature decreased. And when it gained some amount of heat from the surrounding, its temperature increased. So in this way, heat and temperature, or how they are related, you can understand from this activity. So here first let us define the temperature. A quantitative representation of degree of hotness or coldness of a body is called temperature. Here how heat is defined: a form of energy that flows between a body and the surrounding medium by virtue of temperature difference between them. So the temperature difference is very important. See, only when it is hot, then only it loses its heat to the surroundings. And when its temperature becomes equal to the room temperature, then the heat is not transferred to the medium, because its temperature and room temperature became equal. Here also the same thing. It gains heat energy as long as its temperature and room temperature becomes equal. So there is transfer of heat from body to surrounding or surrounding to body only when there is temperature difference. A device measuring the temperature is known as thermometer, and device used to measure heat is called calorimeter. Now coming to units, SI unit for temperature is Kelvin. But the commonly used units are degree centigrade, degree Fahrenheit. Now coming to heat, since it is defined as a form of energy, see here a form of energy, why it is called? There are different forms of energies. Energy is available in the form of mechanical energy, which again consists of potential energy and kinetic energy. Other forms, electrical energy, light energy, like that. So there are different forms of energy. Out of the different forms, heat is a form, and since it is energy, the SI unit is joule. Commonly used unit is calorie. Our next topic is measurement of temperature. A measurement of temperature is obtained using a thermometer. Many physical properties of materials change sufficiently with temperature to be used as the basis for constructing thermometer. So, what physical properties change with temperature? See, when temperature is increased, if it is a solid, its length increases, breadth increases, length and breadth both are one and the same. Its area may increase and its volume increases. And when you go for liquids, they have fixed volume, they have no definite shape. Therefore, in case of liquid, when its temperature is increased, its volume increases. Its volume increases. Now, if you go for a gas, the same thing. If it is caught in a container and you supply heat energy, then its volume increases. Not only volume increases, its pressure also increases. Volume increases and pressure also increases. So here one common property is when you increase the temperature, they are expanding, and that is called thermal expansion. Absorbing the heat energy, they are expanding, and that is called as thermal expansion. So based on this property, thermometers are prepared. So there are different types of thermometer. Most commonly used thermometers are liquid in glass thermometer. Liquid in glass thermometer. Liquid in glass thermometer. For example, see the most commonly used liquids are mercury and alcohol. So, and out of these two, we mostly use the mercury thermometer. Suppose you want to make a thermometer, what you do? See, this is made of glass. Here a bulb is there. In this, mercury will be there, and here a thin bore will be there. So first you keep the this bulb part in between ice pieces taken in a beaker. So here you are making use of ice point. We all know that water freezes into ice at 0 degrees centigrade. Similarly, water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. 100 degrees centigrade. and this is called as steam point. This is called as steam point. In this way, to devise a thermometer, you need two fixed points. One is ice point, another is steam point. So when the mercury bulb is kept between ice, now suppose the mercury level is up to here, then you mark this as 0 degree centigrade. Afterwards, afterwards what you do, you supply some heat energy, making use of your stove. You start heating. By absorbing the heat energy, the ice pieces melt and converted into water, and again the water temperature gradually increases and reaches the steam point. So the water starts boiling. So then the mercury absorbing the heat energy expands. That is called thermal expansion. Its volume increases, so it rises in the bore as its volume increases, and suppose it came up to here. So here you note this as 100 degrees centigrade. So water when reaches steam point, even though you still heat, its temperature doesn't go beyond this value. And therefore, the level of the mercury doesn't exceed this level. So in this way, two fixed points are noted. This is called lower fixing point, and this is called upper fixed point. Now what we do, see here, see in case of Celsius thermometer, in case of Celsius thermometer, the lower fixed point is taken as 0 and upper fixed point is taken as 100 degrees. But here you need not take 0. For example, in case of Fahrenheit thermometer, the lower point is selected as 32 degrees. 32 degrees. Afterwards, how the upper fixed point is selected? It depends upon your choice. If you want to divide the distance between the two limits into 100 equal divisions, then you write here 100 and you divide this into 100 divisions. That becomes a Celsius thermometer. If you want to divide this length into 180 equal divisions, then 32 plus 180 becomes 212, and this length is divided into 180 equal divisions, then it becomes Fahrenheit thermometer. So in this way a thermometer is devised. So now let us find relation between Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale. Suppose on x-axis we have taken degree centigrade temperature and on y-axis Fahrenheit degree temperature. So here what is the lower fixed point? 0 degree centigrade. And what is the upper fixed point? 100. Now corresponding Fahrenheit limits. See there the lower fixed point is 32 and the upper fixed point is 212 degrees. So now this point, see this point has x coordinate and y coordinate. X coordinate is 0 degree centigrade, y coordinate is 32 degree Fahrenheit, and this stands for ice point. And now let us draw a line like this. Similarly here, so this is the intersecting point. Say this is B and this is steam point. 100 degrees centigrade, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Now let us draw a straight line connecting these two. Now let us choose a point randomly here and say this point is P, and the here its degree centigrade temperature is say Tc, and the corresponding Fahrenheit temperature is Tf. So here let us write first x coordinate, afterwards y coordinate. Now here for A, this point, x coordinate 0, y coordinate 32. And here for B, x coordinate 100, y coordinate 212. Since this is a straight line, slope of AP is equal to slope of AB. AB and AP are on the same line, therefore they will have same slope. Okay, slope of AP. Mathematically, slope is defined as change in y coordinates by change in x coordinates. So for AP, change in y coordinates TF minus 32 by change in x coordinates. Now slope of AB, change in y coordinates 212 minus 32. Change in x coordinates 100 minus 0. So here we get 180 and here we get 100. Now we can write the same equation in a different way. TF minus 32 by 180 here is equal to, take this to that side, Tc minus 0 by 100. So this is the relation between Celsius and Fahrenheit scales. So here, suppose you want expression for Tc, you can make it subject. Tc is equal to, take this 100 this side, Tf minus 32 into 100 by 180, 0, 0, minus 32. So similarly, this means using this equation, if a Fahrenheit, this also can be written as C is equal to 5 by 9 F minus 32. So whichever is convenient to you, that can be used. So similarly, for Fahrenheit, so TF minus 32 or from this only we can write F minus 32 is equal to, taking this 5 by 9 this side, 9 by 5 into C, or F is equal to 9 by 5C plus 32. So in this way we can convert we can convert reading from one scale to another scale. Our next topic is ideal gas equation and absolute temperature. Liquid in glass thermometers. So far we discussed that only, that mercury thermometer means liquid in glass thermometer. Liquid in glass thermometers show different readings for temperatures other than the fixed points. See, as far as ice pint and steam pint are concerned, so the liquid in glass thermometers show same temperature, but in between temperatures, they show different readings because of differing expansion properties. So just now we told mercury and alcohol are the liquids used in most liquid in glass thermometers. It means what? Suppose if mercury thermometer is used, you got a reading of 40 degrees centigrade for a given substance. If you measure its temperature in a beaker, you have taken some warm water. In that you dipped both mercury thermometer and alcohol thermometer. Mercury thermometer is showing 40 degrees centigrade reading. Alcohol thermometer is showing 42 degrees centigrade. The reason is the expansion properties of mercury and alcohol are different. For same amount of heat energy, its expansion will be less, its expansion can be more. So because of that, the liquid in glass thermometers cannot give accurate readings. So therefore, we go for gaseous thermometers. We go for a gas thermometer. A thermometer that uses a gas, however, gives the same readings regardless of which gas is used. So whichever gas you use, it will give same readings. Experiments show that all gases at low densities exhibit same expansion behavior. Therefore, we can choose any gas. Only the condition is it should have low density. That's all. So experiments show that all gases at low densities exhibit same expansion behavior. Okay, now the variables that describe the behavior of a given quantity of gas, or the given quantity means your mass. Suppose you have taken 1 kg of gas. What physical quantities they possess? A gas possesses some pressure, it occupies some volume, and it will be at some temperature. So P, V and T. These are the three physical quantities. So for a given gas of fixed mass, it has some pressure, volume and temperature. So now what we shall do first, see, when you increase its temperature, you have taken a gas and you increase its temperature, simultaneously its pressure increases and volume increases. So the supplied heat utilized for pressure increase how much, for volume increase how much, it is difficult to estimate, and you cannot understand the relationship between the three physical quantities simultaneously. That's why what we do, out of the three quantities we keep one at constant and we study the relation between the remaining two physical quantities. So now let us keep temperature constant. At constant temperature, if temperature is constant, now what is the relation between P and V? If you increase pressure, what happens to volume? Simple activity in your lower classes you did. Suppose cylinder piston, here gas is there, here some 1 kg more weight is kept. Suppose here pressure is some 10 pascals and here volume is some 1 liter, and now what you do, you add one more 1 kg mass. Now the pressure is doubled, volume became half. When pressure increased, volume decreased. So there is inverse proportionality. So we write volume inversely proportional to pressure, or the product of pressure and volume is constant. This is nothing but Boyle's law. Now, next, when the pressure is held constant, so now you see, let me write the three variables. Now the pressure is held constant. So now we study the relation between volume and temperature. If you increase the temperature, it will expand, its volume increases. So you can write volume directly proportional to temperature, or V by T is constant. This is Charles' law. This is Charles' law. Now, see, combining these two. See, what is this? From 1 and 2 Q. See, PV is equal to constant, V by T is equal to constant. From this we get PV by T is equal to constant. PV by T is equal to constant. So, and this is called ideal gas equation. And this ideal gas equation is valid for low density gases. Low density gases obey Boyle's law and Charles' law. So they obey the ideal gas equation. Now here, in place of constant, if you write mu r, where mu stands for number of moles and R stands for universal gas constant. So in place of constant, if you have mu r, this is valid for any low density gas, or PV is equal to mu RT. Its value is universal gas constant 8.31 joule by mole Kelvin. Okay. Now, so this is ideal gas equation. So now what is the use of this equation? This ideal gas equation is used to prepare gas thermometer. So this is the principle used in construction of a gas thermometer. Okay, now you are left with two options to prepare a gas thermometer. So option 1, suppose you want to put volume of a gas constant. If volume is held constant, then if volume of a gas is taken constant, then what we can do? P is equal to mu RT by V. Mu is a constant, R is a constant, V is a constant. So P directly proportional to temperature. If you increase temperature, pressure increases. If you increase temperature, pressure increases. So measuring the pressure, you can measure the temperature. Now there is second option. If pressure is held constant, now V is equal to, take this P that side. So here what is happening? Mu, R and P, these are constants. So this implies V directly proportional to T. If temperature increases, if temperature rises, volume of given gas increases. So measuring the volume, you can measure the temperature. Similarly, here let me write, if temperature rises, its pressure increases. So measuring the pressure, you can measure temperature. So here volume is kept constant, therefore such type of gas thermometer is called constant volume thermometer. Here pressure is held constant, therefore the thermometer is called constant pressure thermometer. So Here let us draw a graph for constant volume thermometer. On x-axis let us take temperature. On y-axis let us take pressure. We are following the first option, volume constant. Then if temperature increases, pressure increases. So the graph we get is like this. With experimental readings, you have drawn this graph. But we could draw a graph only with up to some minus 20 degrees centigrade. The minus temperature, say in a fridge, to whatever minus temperature is available, only to that much minus temperature we can calculate the corresponding pressure readings. So you got readings only up to here. Now what you did, you have drawn the straight line making use of a scale. So this line was extrapolated to cut your x-axis. So at which temperature this line has cut? The temperature is minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. What is its meaning? At this temperature, the pressure, see, as the temperature is decreasing, pressure also decreasing. And at this particular temperature, pressure decreases to zero value. And this temperature is in degree centigrade, and this is taken as 0 Kelvin. For Kelvin, Kelvin scientist devised a temperature scale, and for him this is the starting reading. This is the lower fixed point. See, for our Celsius and Fahrenheit scales, the freezing point, that is 0 degree, the freezing point of ice is the lower fixed point. But for our Kelvin, zero pressure temperature is the lower fixed point. He has chosen for temperature the temperature corresponding to zero pressure, that he has taken as a lower fixed point, and his scale is called absolute scale. So in constant volume gas thermometer, measuring the pressure, you can find the corresponding temperature. See, this is constant volume gas thermometer. See here, you see a bulb part here. See, in mercury thermometer, there is a bulb which we keep under the tongue. The mercury reservoir will be there. Just like that, there mercury is there. Here a gas is there. This is a gas bulb. And if you want to measure temperature of water in the beaker, what all you have to do is to immerse the bulb in that water. Then what happens? Gas in it absorbs the heat and expands. So the gas expands and pushes. See, this is manometer, which is used to measure pressure. So the gas expanding pushes the mercury downward. So the mercury level comes down. But this is constant volume thermometer. The volume must be constant. So what we do? See, this part and this part are connected by a flexible hose. So by moving this tube upward or downward, again we bring the mercury level to this zero. See, here scale is there, here zero reading is there. So we bring again the mercury to its previous level, that is zero level. So now the volume of the gas is held constant. Now what we do? We take the reading of the mercury on this scale. See, from this zero, see, this is height of the mercury. This gives you the pressure exerted by this gas, and that pressure corresponds to this temperature. So in this way, see here, we have drawn a graph between temperature and pressure. So measuring the pressure, the corresponding temperature can be found. Or see here, the scale itself can be calibrated. See, this scale is directly gives the H value, but from the graph you can find the corresponding temperature. For each pressure value, you can find the corresponding temperature, and the corresponding temperature values can be written directly on the scale. That is called as calibration. So just measuring the height, you can directly measure the temperature of the fluid in the beaker. So this is actual constant volume gas thermometer. Now so far you had Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale, but now after drawing this graph at constant volume, the relation between temperature and pressure is studied, and when the graph was extrapolated, that intercepted our x-axis, temperature axis at this point, and at this point the temperature was minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. So at this temperature, how much is pressure? 0. The pressure reduced to 0. So this Kelvin scientist took this temperature as 0 Kelvin, and he devised a scale, and that is called Kelvin scale. So now what can be the relation between Celsius scale and Kelvin scale? Very simple. See here, let me write TC plus is equal to 0 Kelvin. See here, this temperature we have taken is in Celsius scale, and here how much is this? Minus 273.15. By adding how much to this you get 0? By adding plus 273.15 to this you get 0. So to the Celsius temperature, if you add 273.15, that becomes 0 Kelvin. That becomes 0 Kelvin. So this is the relation between see here, so this is in Kelvin, so here you write capital T. Capital T is used for temperature in Kelvin scale. So here, see, if Tc is minus 273.15, Celsius is this much, plus 273.15 is equal to 0 Kelvin. So like this, for any temperature you can find the corresponding Kelvin temperature. The relation between Celsius scale and Kelvin scale is just adding this value to Celsius scale, you get a Kelvin temperature. That's all. Suppose this is Celsius scale, this is Kelvin scale, this is Fahrenheit scale. For Celsius scale, the lower fixed point is 0, upper fixed point is 100. So we have seen the working of a constant volume gas thermometer, but gas thermometers have one limitation. What is that limitation? Gas thermometers are based on ideal gas equation. But here the gas you are using is real gas. Real gases obey this relation at low pressures and high temperatures. So the graph you got, this is valid only at high pressures, valid at high temperatures only. So making use of gas thermometers, you can measure high temperatures accurately. So that is its limitation. So now, so with this we got three types of thermometer: Celsius, Fahrenheit, and just now we discussed Kelvin scale. Now let us compare the three scales. See here, for Celsius and Fahrenheit, the lower fixed point was taken at ice point at 0 degrees centigrade. Steam point, upper fixed point as 100 degrees centigrade. That is for Celsius scale. And for Fahrenheit scale, ice point taken at 32, steam point taken at 212. See, our Celsius scale is divided into 100 equal divisions, whereas Fahrenheit scale, the same distance, the distance between ice point and steam point was divided into 180 equal divisions. So here and here the unit size changes. Now let us come to Kelvin scale. See, in the Kelvin scale, 0K starts at minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. So its corresponding value on Kelvin scale is 0 K. And if to this, if you add 273.15, you reach ice pint. And if you again say, but here in Kelvin scale, the unit size is same. Therefore, see here 0, here 100. So to this, if you add 100, you get steam pint. The number of divisions between ice pint and steam pint. Here 100 divisions, here also 100 divisions. Unit size is same for Kelvin and Celsius. So in this way, we have compared the three scales.